Welcome back to Crypto Talk. So let's run down Bitcoin here on the weekly. If you've never seen this chart before, this is my BLX chart. This is the entire inception of Bitcoin from the very beginning, going back to 2009. And what I have here are the market cycles. So green line is showing the market cycle top. You've got the red line indicative of the market cycle bottom. The dotted lines are the halvings. So, and also the top to bottom in terms of price appreciation. Roughly, that one isn't right. Somewhere in that range. So you can see we have diminishing returns as time has gone on, and also have deduced based on the past two market cycles the expected range for where Bitcoin is going to end up with a market cycle top. So on average, you have 1,430 to 1,470 days. So this time I have deduced two different scenarios. The real market cycle top by every other indicator was March of 2021. Pi cycle top indicator, many others had popped off at that point in time. The second actual all-time high was generated by the ETFs, the non-spot ETFs that came out then. Literally the day they were launched, the day we dumped. So that was an artificial high in my opinion. That's why you'll see that call this one the scam wick all-time high, and this one is the real all-time high. So with that said, I still have a projected market cycle top somewhere in the beginning of March of 2025. And for some reason, we get an extended cycle and we go off of the scam wick all-time high. I've got a projected market cycle top somewhere in October. I will tell you personally, I'll be looking to take a lot of profit, if not all profit, by the time March comes around, if and when I see indications that things are starting to slow down. I'm talking a red dot on the weekly, 2 week, and the 1 month. RSIs and things of that nature coming down. Pi cycle top indicator has flashed. Things like the Coinbase app in the App Store for both Apple and Android is the #1 downloaded app. Currently, I believe it's number 17, so we have a while to go. Everybody's euphoric. Altcoins are going wild. You've got at least 3 to 6 months of straight up. So if you can see back here, you had an exponential rise. You may not see this, but you're going to see somewhere in that 300 to 600% range. So that was a 500% run on that push alone. If I drop this down some, expect about 150%. So, you get something like another 100%. That's 182,000. 150% is somewhere like the 230, which is, in my opinion, way too high. I'm still projecting the 125 to 135 range. So from this point in time, that is roughly 125 puts you right in the neighborhood of 30, another 40% more to go. And then to my projected top here is 50%. Keep in mind, my projections are quite conservative. This could go much higher. But I'm looking for multiple months of green candles pointing up, especially on the monthly. If I zoom out here, you can see what I'm talking about. So this was straight up for the most part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of up. That's what I'm looking for. So at this point in time, here we are in November. You had 1, 2, 3, so 3 more months, right? December, January, February. I'm looking for signs of a topping signal towards the middle to end of February. If that's the case, I'm looking to sell regardless of price. I will leave some money to ride just in case we go higher, but I'm expecting this to be a typical mid-wave, trigger wave, push higher. Everything here is tight and different. This, again, is the monthly. RSIs are super tight and pointing up. Money flow is pointing up. the VWAP is pointing up. The actual wave itself, momentum wave, is probably going to be a higher one. So I expect it to look something in the nature of a peak up here and then start to turn its way down. And that's where I'm looking for a red dot somewhere in this range, right around March. So Nothing is guaranteed. All I can tell you is what I'm looking for on Bitcoin on the larger time frames. That's what I'm looking for at the moment. So it looks super bullish on the monthly. Let's run down to the 2 week. 2 week, same thing. RSIs are starting to flatten out, but they're super tight. VWAP is pointing straight up. Money flow is still increasing. Momentum wave is just getting started. You can see how long these things take. So if I take a measurement from that point in time, so when we're thick like this, starting to turn, and we get up here to the peak, so that's 70 days on this one, just for example. So if I drag over 70 days to this one, you're looking late January, actually early January. But you can see we had a continuation. So let's say we did that. We get a double, kind of this double hump push. And we get to something of this nature, we get the red dot. So 140 days on this one. So let's drag this over here again. Click that, drag, oops, excuse me. And we'll drive over to this one. Yeah, 140 days takes us to March 17th, so 2 weeks after my projected top. So I think it's well within reason to think that's probably what we can get as a double hump like this, but the money flow wasn't even close to what this was. This is back of October of last year. Again, this was the end of the bear market, very beginning of the bull market, coming out of the lows. If you want to deduce off of this one, you could do similar measurements, find where you've got increasing money. Even here, it doesn't have close in terms of money flow. Let's go back to 2017. It's just not really comparable. There's nothing of this. I mean, this has got so much more money flow than we had back here. You've got institutions, you've got ETFs. There's just so much more exponential move up. So that's why I think we could actually bust through my actual projected highs. But I'm just being conservative, and I don't want to. I'd rather underpredict and cash out while people are still bullish than overpredict and be the one holding the bag. You don't want to be that guy that's left holding the bag at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. But if we hit my all-time high peak, I mean, we still had almost an 800% return from top to bottom, from 15,000 all the way up to 135. So pretty good for any asset class. Bitcoin year over year, even including the dips, you're still getting about 135% return. I'm not sure where else in any other asset class you're getting anything of that nature. Crazy. Down to the weekly. We're getting a slight rejection off of, if you pull the fib from this high to here, you're getting off a rejection off of the 1618. Actually, I think we already blew through that. My apologies. Okay, we just pushed through it. Okay, next one you're looking at here is the 2618 coming in at 112, and then you got the 3618 coming in at the 136 mark, which is right around my target. So most cases from 2021, that was the case. Depending upon the coin, the 3618 was usually the top. Things like Dogecoin, Solana. Actually, Solana wasn't really around. So Dogecoin, let's see, SHIB, things like that overextended themselves. Litecoin even did something like that too. It just went crazy. But Bitcoin's much more moderate, much larger. I think it won't go as high, but also at the same time, I'm realizing that there's just a lot more liquidity that's never been in Bitcoin before. Institutions and governments are buying, especially if the U.S. government decides to do a Bitcoin reserve and buys more Bitcoin. Currently, you're roughly around 200,000 Bitcoin in the U.S. Treasury. There's talks that they could go up to 1 million. So if they buy that, it's at today's price, you're looking at another $86 billion being purchased off market. So it's only going to make the rarity of it go up. So that's what I'm looking at there. 1 day, getting kind of toppy, but we've had this pattern, right? So you go up, you dip, you go up, you dip. So I'm expecting kind of a pullback, which I'll show you here in a second. So this is what I'm looking at. That's the BLX. This was my Wyckoff accumulation schematic. It's really an accumulation with a spring. So a reaccumulation, then a big push. So again, my 2618 on this one is still 113. It all depends on which chart you have and how you draw it. And then now we can zoom into the more macro perspective here. This is what I'm looking for. We're actually holding nicely at this level here. This support resistance flip. We can hold above this, great. If not, I have my alarm set a little bit lower. I'd like to grab some liquidity and come down further. I am looking for this wave to kind of trigger wave to come down some. Wouldn't be a bad idea to come back in here and test this larger point of control. Coming in at roughly 87,008, let's call it 900. You got 10-minute order blocks down here as well. Sweep the wick. A lot of times these will do double tops and then continue. You can see that here. You had a double bounce and a sweep of the low and then back up again. And then down through here, sweep of this low and then come back up again. So I'm curious to see what Asia just did. Asia did pump this thing up a little bit. Asia pumped it from here to here. Asia came in and pumped it on a little over 1 1/3%. Battling the daily VWAP at the moment. That's what we're looking for here. RSIs are pointing up. We're losing money flow in the 10-minute. Just waiting to see what happens. London could come in buying. If that's the case, we're going to push higher again. Maybe get our head rejected off one of these order blocks here in the 91,300 range. You've also got 91,900 here for another different range pull. This is the more immediate one. This is the larger one I've been using. Then I have a trend line from lower I'm looking at. It's holding as support. It's been holding so far. If you go back down to here, this is how I projected those. So it's been respected. I'm also watching the yellow here. It's the 200 EMA. Let's turn on my Mongo Pro Trader. I turned it off. Let's see what that looks like. Usually better to watch than the 10-minute for swing patterns. It likes the buy. So yeah, it's got a buying momentum, but it doesn't mean this can't flip. I'm looking to see short term. This could just be chop. We're about to get a bullish break in structure internally. We're not really getting much of anything until you get back above the 91,200. Money flow starting to come back in here in a 3-minute. RSIs are pointing straight up, which is great, but you're probably going to bonk your head here on this. Believe that is my 200 EMA. So we can hit our head on that and then come back down. Auto-generated support resistance lines you can see here, and also we have a value area high for this one area coming in at 91,878. So that's what I'm looking for in the short term. What does Ethereum look like? Well, you're in a bull flag. It's very simple. Well oversold. Let's jump out to the 4-hour. Finally got a pump. Actually, let's jump out a little higher for you guys. Daily. Sorry if I sound kind of nasally. It is allergy season here. On the East Coast, weather's changing. Yes, we got a bounce just above the 786. Let's pull a fib here. Let's do this one. We're rejecting from the 618 currently. Also, this order block right above it was the 786. That's where I would expect a rejection from. So this could consolidate here. I would expect more of a ping pong effect here for a little bit, and then being we're all bullish in the market, going up. Short term, that's what I'm looking at here in the daily. Daily does have a green candle, just FYI. Getting a bullish kind of mini bull div. So that's good. It's more so a liquidity grab. You got a 3 tap of this area as well. You got to get back above the weekly VWAP here for Ethereum, coming in at 32, let's say 250. And then you're looking to target really 4,000 in the near term. The yearly high is up at 40, round up, say 41,000. I think all-time high is like 42. So we have some ways to go. I think this is underappreciated. When this thing moves, it moves too. So I may start doing some leverage longs on Ethereum. My band protocol, I've already talked about this a long time ago. I'll talk about it at length again. So oversold, it's not even funny. You're at a triple bottom coming off of here. 1, 2, 3. It's an accumulation range. Look at the thick money flow starting to come in. People are starting to realize it because I'm talking about it, and so are others. Roughly, what? Nearly 1,800% to the all-time high. I think the 1618 is the very minimum, which is $36. That is almost 2,900%. Currently $1.25. Hits 36 bucks. I'm going to start cashing out significantly. Leave some in to ride based on what I see on the charts, and then the 2618 is at 58, and then the 3618, which is my top dollar, went into 80 bucks. So think about that. This is why cryptocurrency is so powerful. Is you have an 80 times your money, basically. That would be a 6,500% return. Solana. Let's run down Solana here. All right, so weekly. You have not broken out to a new all-time high yet, believe it or not. 2021 still in existence. That one is coming in at roughly, let's say 265, say 264.12. Really close. We're at 214 currently. Money flow is super thick. So pulling off of this, the first fib I'm looking at after a breakout is 422. Second is a 2618 here at 678. And I think a realistic top is somewhere between 850 and probably an extended of $1,200, $1,500. So, by the way, that's about 5618, which is super. That's if it gets an ETF like we're thinking it's going to get, that's what's going to happen. So, currently to the 1618, you're looking at about a 96% return. To the 2618, you're looking at 215% return. 3618, you're looking at a 400% return. And then up here at the 5618, which is my top, I think is possible, is about a 600% return. So not bad. Of course, things could go higher or lower. Who knows? But the money flow is stupid. I mean, this is crazy. Look at the RSIs. This is I don't think it's ever done that in history. At the moment, I haven't seen any other chart that has RSIs that straight up and down and that tight. So this is about to have another big move here on the weekly. Money flow is still increasing. VWAP is flat. Excuse me. I'm also looking at Degen, if I could pull that up. Zoom out for you a little bit on the 4-hour. This one's very dangerous. I've also gotten hosed on this before. This one moves a lot. So when I use leverage on this one, I do 10 to 20% max because things can go south really quickly, but it moves so freaking much. I mean, you could have been a millionaire on this move if you had the right amount of money in. I mean, from top to bottom on that one, you're up 100, almost 200%. If you added 10 or 20x leverage, even higher, you just do the math. It's crazy. Money flow is coming up. This I do expect to pull back to at least the weekly VWAP. It already hit my target. I had a target up here at 16,889. We did hit as high as 0.021891. Over here, if we can hold above this order block here, I draw a line there. Look at fat. Hold above 16. Let's call it 15,159. Super bullish. Yeah, we could just act. Money flow is leaving, but we're consolidating right above, right on my projected top there, breakout target. So in cases like this where it's kind of hard to do TA and something is straight just meme-ish, but charts are charts. Pull a fib or you could do that. Just do that one. Let's do this one. So play the range, long this bottom area and short. I wouldn't short in a bull market, to be honest with you. I just don't do that. Especially on a volatile meme coin, the quickest way to get hosed is shorting. If you break in structure, you drop below the VWAP, back test, hit your head, then you can short. But definitely wait for break in structure. Let's zoom out. This thing has a lot of room to run if it does. Let's do the daily. So I don't know if this is the full chart on MEXC. But if this thing goes to at least the all-time high, another 200% and above, so let's say this thing goes to 10 cents. Well, hell, this probably, things like this go crazy. Let's say it goes to $1. Because, meme coins are unpredictable. That's 5,000%. So that's on the same line of band protocol plus some, but it has zero utility. At least band protocol is an oracle. All right. Let's look at my KDAO. It's getting hosed today. Someone keeps dumping this thing down to zero. I don't get it. Anyways, if I have money left, I'm going to keep buying it. So any profits that rotate into it, I'll buy this thing down to zero. It's the only DAO on Caspa. Still don't understand. There wasn't team allocation of tokens. This was technically a fair launch, so I'm not sure who keeps buying and dumping this thing down as far as it's gone. But the last one I bought was about 1170, I think. So I'm down like another 40%. I'm down another 26%. So probably a good time to rotate more money into it. Always buy when others are fearful. Here's my my speech from last time. If you go up to a penny, right? This is how people make life-changing wealth. You buy when things or people have forgotten about it, don't understand it, and or manipulated. This is likely manipulated, so someone's actually accumulating a ton as they're buying and selling this. That's 121,000%, 22,000% return on your money. So let's say you bought 30 million coins down here. Do the math on that. It's just crazy. I don't have, and the last time I checked in this range, it was $3 million market cap. So we may be under $1 million right now. So this is unheard of. The Caspa ecosystem is about to blow up. I'll show you over here. Caspa is about to take off, in my opinion. Forgotten about. It's the smarter Bitcoin in many cases. Just waiting for the rest of the world to catch up on it. If you're up basically 86,000%, please take profit. If you were that guy that bought on day one, way down here, God bless you. I will say this does looks like a distributed top, so do be careful. But we are holding. We haven't set a lower low. We got a double low. So this would actually make me wonder if we were going to sweep this low. But so far, we're putting in a higher low and a higher high. So if you're always unsure, you can always take our drawing tool, right? So we can go in here, if I can find it, path tool. So you got this. So far, so good. No lower low. Still got a higher low. So the first break in structure was here, but we didn't sweep this, so it's only internal. And so far, we're just consolidating. So until we break these lows here, I wouldn't get bearish. So again, likely whale games. Again, this is a mineable coin, just like Bitcoin is. It's a proof of work. So keep that in mind. But if you are up 86,000%, please, for the love of God, take some profit. Take at least 25% off the table. Pay yourself. All this great paper gains you see on the computer doesn't matter if you don't take profit and you don't sell. So I will leave you at that, guys. This is what I'm watching for Bitcoin. Looks like we're going to pump in the near term. I may do some scalping, but I think we're going to hit our head here, kind of just shop around for a little bit. So I'm going to do some work, but I'm not looking to hold anything longer term. In the near term, I'm waiting to see what London does later. I'll be asleep by then. I'll set some alarms, and I'll wait to see what the New York Open brings. So hopefully we cascade lower, come back down, hit my alarms here. Looking for longing anywhere in this general region. I will put a bull target down here, bullseye, doink. So for those of you to follow me, like 86 87,600 would be perfect, and that would be a long way down. That would freak people out, right? Like a 3% drop, that would also come back down and grab liquidity under here. You got some liquidity sitting here. That would be considered a chicken's drinking water, and it would probably, let me look at this. What is that, an A? It's a B, it's a C, so you may have already had it. So maybe this would be your one wave. So maybe we're done. It could be just going up for another 5 wave. I don't know. I'm not really the Elliott wave expert. That is not what I've studied much on. That's my least. That's my most ignorant part of trading. So I'll have to work on my Elliott wave theory. But you can usually just draw it based on structure. So really, it would sweep and be a quick SFP of this area here. You'd sweep liquidity, get people to thinking we're going to be bearish and go lower, and they actually just run higher. So typically that's what it does. The chickens come to roost, as they say. So I will leave you with that. Nothing I say is financial advice. Best of luck. You want to find me, head to Crypto Blackwall on Twitter, the Blackguard Discord. And if you want some private coaching, head over to my Patreon account. Thanks, guys.